Ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed a proud privilege to be here. Special thanks to Colonel Gautam and IDSA for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts and my humble work on Arthashastra in this particular forum. The speakers and discussions so far have highlighted the richness of Arthashastra, and in my presentation, I continue the effort to explore contemporary relevance, continuing from Aditya, where he's done up Anulom or increased the comprehensive national power. I have, the focus of my presentation is to address the other side, that is what happens in cases of Pratilom, or what leads to fragility in a state, and how does Arthashastra help us understand as to how this fragility comes about. I shall jump straight in and I shall begin with a short introduction of the current understanding of security threats, as was implied by Ambassador Fabian an hour back. The world we live in today is a safer place for a person at birth, with a much higher life expectancy amounting to approximately 67 years as compared to the beginning of the 20th century. The threat to life in security terms is influenced more by non-state actors as compared to a state-on-state conflict. This environment is influenced by economic interdependence in a rapidly growing globalized economy, driven by access to information and increasingly interconnected in ways that are becoming difficult for states to manage and control. The proliferation of new states after the Cold War and the increase in divide between the have and the have-nots is contributory to the fragility of such states. This fragility means ungoverned spaces and disruption of life and property on a global scale is possible through the action of non-state actors, much epitomized by the 9/11 attacks and closer home with the series of terrorist attacks that our nation has experienced. The traditional response by the West has been characterized by kinetic response, symbolized by a global war on terror, which over time, as we have seen in the last 7 to 8 years, has diffused into upstream engagements involving intervention, stabilization operations in these fragile states, and employing a comprehensive approach. It is within this particular context that I take forward the discussion using the wisdom of Arthashastra and attempt to understand the phenomena through its lens. Shown on the projection are Prakritis and the order of priority, that is Swami, Amatya, Janpad, Durg, Kosha, Danda and Mitra, in reducing order of priority as given by Kautilya. This constituents of this state were conceptualized by Kautilya and centered on this model. I have placed Raj Dharma, the triad of Raksha, Palana and Yogakshema as indicated, and it becomes the central binding part or a social contract which binds the state and the polity, and it is exercised by the ruler or the Swami. Just to draw a modern analogy on the concept of state, I just borrowed it from Barry Buzan, who postulated that state has 3 constituents. That is, the idea of a state, the physical base of a state, and the institutional expression of the state. As is visible, these are already there in the first 3 parts of this Prakriti. He goes on to say that without a strong idea and an institutional expression, the state becomes weak. And this is exactly what Kautilya has mentioned when he is given priority, giving Swami the highest priority followed by Amatya. As can be seen from this representation, Kautilya's Prakritis not only added clarity to Barry Buzan's model, but in fact linked infrastructure, treasury, military and international alliances in a system of priority which gave their relative importance within this model. At this juncture, it is necessary to emphasize that Kautilya's advice is suitable not only for nation building and advancement, but also to explore how certain policies which are contrary to the fundamental laws of statecraft, which are defined by Kautilya, have a resultant outcome of decline. While the health of Prakritis, which I just discussed with you, provides a barometer of internal happiness and progress, the counterbalance achieved within the mandala is essential to sustain it, and is based on the choices made by the state. For achieving success in the mandala system, Kautilya offers Shadgunyas for the Vijishu to apply to the constituent elements of a circle of state. The spectrum of choices offered have been explained by Kautilya as given in the representation. He has given resultant risks and consequences associated with the choices that he offers. He also juxtaposes them on a time domain. That is, he gives a policy of either attack straight away, depending on your present position, or wait and watch. And he has further deliberated on determinant events, which have been mapped exhaustively by him by giving a whole lot of options to the ruler. My study is aimed at understanding the whole system approach, joining the dots and connecting the patterns to glean out the interlinkages and the dynamics. A deeper analysis is possible with the whole system approach and not just an isolated single system approach. Thus, the choices exercised within the mandala have a direct impact on the Prakritis, and this can be gleaned when the entire process is played out with the interlinkages. Like I said, if the priorities are in the natural order, then progress happens. And when the order is disturbed, there is likely to be a decline. The Vasanas are primary contributors in reversing the trend of progress. Vasanas have been attributed to both man-made and natural consequences. Kautilya's prescriptions have shown that he understood the relevance of deterministic and stochastic variables, which are basically probability terms. And by addressing them, he was able to provide a reasoned advice while increasing the probability of success. However, the order of priority are not rigid, and Kautilya provides exceptions to permit deviations for specific circumstances. This is specifically applicable when the aspect of time is superimposed on the choice of Shadgunyas and Upayas. Now I go on to my case study. I have attempted to enliven the whole system approach using a real-world case study. The choice of Pakistan for case study is based on the current discourse on the fragility that this stage faces in the contemporary security environment. Ambassador Fabian touched upon this aspect when he said a few of our neighbors consider us as their natural enemy. The whole system approach becomes amply clear through this case study and use of Pakistan Shadgunyas vis-a-vis India. To start with from the top and how they affect finally the Prakritis. In the state of Pakistan, the long-term insecurity over India has shaped its choice of mandala, wherein it has adopted a hedging strategy based on the choice of China as a middle king, the US as a neutral king, and Saudi Arabia as an ally, and making them their own ally as and when it suited them. Over years, within its strategic calculus, Pakistan has been successful in the context of what its policy makers set out to achieve, that is, to achieve strategic parity vis-a-vis India. For this, the effective use of choices within the mandala theory and innate use of Shadgunyas and Upayas juxtaposed with the intelligent mix of covert and silent wars has allowed it to exercise a variety of courses of actions in this bid. However, while achieving this parity, it needed recourse to an authoritarian form of leadership to make this mandala happen. The authoritarian nature of its leadership, both military as well as civilians, has compromised the fundamental social contract or Raj Dharma, which is considered essential for the ruler to gain legitimacy and for progress to happen. This has in turn come at a heavy cost to its constituent Prakritis, affected by human policies and natural calamities, that is, floods and earthquake in 2005-2008, and this has led to huge challenges like a depleted treasury, affected the cohesion of its institutions, especially the judiciary, its ability to harness its own resources, its physical structure, and finally, the very idea of its statehood, which it started off with. We have gone through the process from seeing how interconnection of various models and their dynamics within a particular case study that I have given has led to the reversal of the natural order of Prakritis, which Kautilya prescribes. This reversal is further sustained due to the Shadgunyas chosen by its leadership, and thus the cycle of decline continues. One of the manifestations in this particular case study of depleted Prakritis in Pakistan is visible in the form of erosion of its sovereignty, drone attack over its territory, out of its control, and the ability of militant Islamic groups who are able to operate without compromise on its own territory, compromises its internal and external sovereignty through this particular example. To conclude, Arthashastra identifies fundamental themes through models and paradigms that have universal validity. The secular and logical tone of his delivery, accompanied with empirical leanings, provided by a wide range of detailed, deterministic and stochastic possibilities, allows it to be interpreted through modern paradigms and superimposed on modern problems. Such models can be detached from discussions involving religion or ideologies and address the root relationships and the root dynamics amongst the contending issues without a bias. The case study also reveals that it is of use in not only analyzing and interpreting the ideal set of state policies, but also flawed state policies and perceptions. The richness of options that Kautilya provides allows problems to be understood and tackled through informed human decisions. A whole system approach of understanding is recommended in establishing the interlinkages within the dynamics of internal and external affairs to establish root causes of fragility which afflict the world today. With that, I have finished my presentation, and I shall be happy to take on the questions with the panel. Thank you.